I should be back. That's really, really annoying. I don't know why OBS keeps doing this. I think it's actually a Twitch issue. Jay can't keep it up. I don't have any problems there, dude. That's not a problem I have. I am back. Right, okay, so yeah. What was I explaining? Oh yeah, okay. So what I was explaining is right, get the browser page back up. There you go. What I was explaining is the closing date will actually show twice because I can't go back and amend the metadata for all of the 1,000 group buys we've handled in the past. I'm not doing that. That would just take too long to add in the closing group buy date. It would take weeks to do that because most of the time we didn't used to track it, so it wasn't a metric. So what it will do is it will show twice the closing date because I will pull up the metadata and it will have it blank. It'll say closing date blank and then it'll have closing date underneath for other things. But I have added that to my to-do list, so I will do it. Perfection, sir. He can wrap but not wrap. Yes, I can wrap things but not wrap. A stem from a switch is snapped off and got stuck in a keycap. Do you have any suggestions on how to get the stem out of the keycap? Thanks. Okay, so this has happened to me before. What you want to do is you want to look at a 3D printing supply website, and they have these little pins. I'll show you one. Now this is a bent one, but you can get these little pins. Ignore the fact that it's bent. It's usually straight. And what these pins are for on 3D printers is unclogging the things. But what you can do is if you can hold it in a pair of pliers, you can heat the end of the point and push it slowly into the stem part of the keycap. Let it cool, and then you can pull it out. Alternatively, you can try using some super glue on the end of a thin rod and put that into it. But yeah, basically any thin pin type thing, heat up the end, push it into just the stem, and then let it cool. It has to cool first so the plastic adheres to the pin, and then you can slide it out. Maybe the info moves to Notion or something, copy the item price list into a static table on the product update page. I think that's asking a lot of the team. So yeah, so like the problem is the way that the website's set up is everything works on a template. So there's only 5 templates. I don't create a new template for every product page. So the template has to either read metadata, which is product specific, which we can do for some things, or it has to pick up the individual product stuff from the product page. Now, I don't want to have to amend the product page when we close the group buy. All I want to do is change the template. It's got to be frictionless. To then start having to copy and paste things into HTML codes, having to start to do other things and build on, just adds more time for something we're not selling anymore. Why would we spend more effort on something we're no longer selling? Is the kind of the point. So yeah, so copying and pasting stuff isn't something that Sharon or Mel will want to do. Absolutely not. And trying to teach someone how to code HTML and stuff like that for stuff that they're not used to doing is not going to happen. So if it can't be built into the product template itself or for the phase of the group buy, whether it's in stock group buy, pre-order, or closed group buy, then it's not going to happen. So yeah. I don't know what's so complicated about that though. When entering the hobby, it made sense looking at the group buy and in stock. The fact it says out of stock is also an indicator that it's no longer available. I think people see something, and if they see a product on a website, they expect to be able to buy it.
Tasty.
And when they can't buy it, they get frustrated. So that's why we have them under the specific section, tucked away into closed group buys, and we push them to one side. And then the information is there if anyone ever wants to go and dig it out, and we've re-added some of that information back in. I might add a little disclaimer of text on there, as you said, Reed, to say that data is historical and not, used for any future ongoing part of the project or something like that. Maybe that's what we do. Right. It should be possible, Reed says, it should be possible in template code to iterate over product variations and create a bullet item for each variation. We can work on it maybe next Friday on a call if you want. So the issue on that, let me see if I can show you. So this is what I'm working with. This is where I'm working. here. So this is the back end for the Enso E keyboard kit, okay? But it's not for the Enso E keyboard kit. It doesn't matter what product I select here. What I'm actually amending, as you can see right at the very top of the page, is the closed group buys element. So we have a series of templates based on a default product, which is an in-stock product, a closed group buy, a coming soon product, a group buy product, or a pre-order. The other ones are for configurators and stuff that we don't use anymore. So those are the templates that I have. And basically each product, as it goes through the life cycle, will have a different template applied to it. A group buy one will have the group buy one applied to it when it's in group buy, and then when it's closed, it'll have the closed group buy one added to it. And what I can do is for the product page section, which is this section at the top highlighted by the blue box, I can amend stuff natively within Shopify. So what I was doing here is I was amending what is visible and what's hidden. You can see a lot of this is now hidden. So this one, for example, is something that I built that adds the checkbox in to say that you are accepting the conditions. Of course, we don't want that because it's not available anymore, so we're going to turn that checkbox off. What I re-added was the Hulk choice options, the variant picker, and the price, but I moved them underneath the text and everything else. So we have that. And then what I've done from there is, for where you see the rest of it under here, I've built a series of bits and pieces. This is just a block that pulls the product description back, but on some of the other templates it's quite a little bit more complex. So for example, if I show you on the default product, you will see that, let's change this to something that is actually in stock, Meizu R2 for example. So if I change that to the in-stock Meizu R2, this is what the product page will look like, although it's truncated at the minute because I've got the drawers out. So what you'll see is that I've actually built this custom section here, which has rich text at the top, which is where it pulls from this text is pulled from a meta object with that text enclosed. So I only need to update it in one place to update the website. And then this block does pull back the names of the kit and also does a check on the stock levels and then puts a bit of a stock level in there, and then it pulls through the product description and then some more rich text for the disclaimers at the bottom. So I'm very limited on what I can actually do without it creating more work, because it has to work in a single template that works across all of those types of products. For example, here it's in stock product, and to get it to bring information in, I either have to add a tag to the product with some metadata or a meta object or something like that it can then read, such as the product description is one or the product price is another. But to start to play around with stuff where people need to change that after we've closed the group buy becomes really, really difficult. But yeah, that's basically what we're working with. Cool. Right. Hidden block and show historical data button is maybe an option too. Maybe. I think how we've set it up now is fine. Like, that's fine. It shows the information there. Yeah, stream did die. Sorry, guys. This is why we don't test in prod. Twitch has it out for Jay. I don't know what's causing it. Probably wrapping. Yeah, if I started wrapping, Twitch would close the stream down. Could use a sewing needle. Yeah, so any type of pin will work. Batowski, thank you so much for 36 months of subs as well. I appreciate you. Can we get new subscriber badges before I reach the 5-year mark? If you want to design them, Stores, no, sure. This is the what you see is what you get editor. Is a closed group by template editable in the template language I use? Yes, so it is, but there is some complications with that, Mr. Reed. So, whilst I can, if I edit something on here, it stays in future rounds. Hold on, let me just see if I can show you something else. So I can't show you the other part of it. The other side of it is like the template is based on a theme that we install, which is kind of fairly common across all Shopify stores. And if the theme has an update for security reasons, whatever else, any custom code is then lost because it overwrites the liquid files. It doesn't overwrite the theme settings or the blocks that we put into the theme. It protects those. And this is what happened a couple of years ago when we had to release the site redesign really quick when I wasn't expecting to, because the theme basically changed something as part of an update that we weren't expecting. We had a lot of data that was hard coded into the theme files. So whilst I can edit the code, if I edit any of the theme codes, they will disappear as soon as we release a new version of the website. I can't show you that because unfortunately there's some other data that's not mine to share on that page, but effectively, yeah, we would lose. We'd have to have a whole raft of code and lists of documents that we would need to repaste that code into every time the site got updated in the background, and we wouldn't know that until we got a ping saying, "Oh, your theme was updated. Please go and re-enable all of this stuff," and you know that just leads to downtime. So, yeah, as Reed says, that can break things on theme updates. Yeah. Could do something like you did with the kit list for the status, but also I'm just floating ideas. Appreciate you want to keep interaction to 0 aside from changing the template. Yeah, I don't mind building the templates out to do more stuff if it's right for the consumer, but I don't want to make it so it's onerous for the team. Like, we're already operating on really thin margins. If I have to add like another hour of time to every single change that we have to make for a product that we're there for, like closed group buys that we're no longer selling, it just becomes a cost for no benefit at that point, or a cost for very little benefit. So yeah. There are blocks in the theme pages for the what you see is what you get blocks. Yes, yeah, there are blocks that we can add and remove. I can show you how that works. So on here, for example, let me go back to the product page. Let's just do closed group buys. So if I wanted to, like, I can add another block under here. So if I wanted to add a block at the bottom, I can add like a contact form, and it will just put the contact form in there, which is, you know, maybe that's something we should have on product pages, who knows, but we can just add stuff like that. So yeah, nice and simple, and that doesn't overwrite the product files, it just changes the WYSIWYG editor. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff that we can do and a lot of stuff that we can't do, unfortunately. So yeah, right. I feel like I'm building the website live on stream today, which is probably never a good way to do it. Oh dear. Right, my coffee's going cold as well. But yeah, my aim isn't to take away features from people using the site. I do want people to be able to see things. I just want to be able to make the site easier for us to manage as well, and make it easier for customers to see the information. So that's why I've changed what the in-stock products pages look like, and I'm hoping that this is now much easier for customers. Like, everything is centered and detailed underneath. It brings back the customer service blocks. It brings back what other customers also bought. It now shows this kitting availability instead of you just having to rely on what's crossed out on the drop downs. Yeah, I do need to try and figure out something to do with this dead space here. There are some options on making the product images bigger and moving the carousel, but I would like to change some of that here, but it's very limited in what we can do. But yeah, a lot of things just break the theme sometimes, but it should work for basically anything. One of the huge benefits actually is now if you're buying an in-stock Neo keyboard, the tables are now full screen, so they render all the way across, so you can see the whole of the table, which is good. But yeah, it should be easier to read the website now. Everything's much larger, the image is much better. I have gone through and checked almost every single product listing for in-stock products, and we've got over 600 products in stock right now. I think even when you look at like artisan listings and stuff, it's just much neater and tidier. But especially the stuff where we have in the product listing, like the Neo boards, we have these tables and which kits are available. I think it's all much nicer to read now, and especially like images in here. And one of the things I do want to do is I whilst I was doing this, I absolutely noticed that a lot of keycap sets and things, the designers just don't give us a product description. So I'm just going to pick on this one. That one does have one. but they're not really product pages in the grand scheme of things when you really think about it. I'm trying to find an example of a bad one. This is an example of a good one because it's got all of this information on here and pictures and stuff. But some of them have one line. That's the only line that tells you anything about the product other than the specifications being in the table below. But that's literally the only thing that tells you about it. Why? Like, you know, one of the things that I really want to do is work with designers more so that they can tell people about the keycap set. They can build information that we can put on the product pages. So that's something I'm going to try and do, is go through all of our products that are in stock. It's like so we get one sentence or two sentences, and it's like, well, that's not really enough to tell people about the product. Half of the kit configuration tables are not cut off anymore on phones. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. It's something that I struggled with for a long time, to how to do that as well. Right. Okay, let's catch up with stream, and then I'll do the whole shilling of stuff rather than just telling you guys what I'm changing on the website. Sad news about Coniferous today. I guess Skywrite will continue to be my only proper green set for a while longer. Yeah, unfortunately, we just... I think there was less than 5 sales for the international set for Coniferous worldwide. And it, like, when it's that low, it's just impossible to make it to MOQ. When we've got to buy I think it was 150 or something for it. It's just not enough. It's like 3% of the way to MOQ. It's not enough. Too many stakeholders wanting different things. Stakeholders. Do I need to make a racy matrix or something like that? Totally get you trying to minimize effort for your team. Maximizing your margin should absolutely be your primary goal. Yeah, like, I want to make things easier for customers to buy, remove friction points, give as much information to customers as possible, and make it as easy in the background for us to manage the website as possible. Now, I don't mind how much work that causes for me, but I don't want it to cause more work for Sharon or Mel or anything else. Rex says, can you remove the kits drop down and make it so you can add to basket from the new stock shower? So, to be clear, what you're asking is, can I remove this drop down here and allow them to add to the basket from here? No, unfortunately not. So I am very limited in what I can do with the stuff that's down here, because it's not part of the actual... So when I was showing you guys on Shopify is really limited. I want to try and explain this quite as well as I can, but I need to be able to show you this. So let me get this back up. So when I mentioned before, let's look at Mizu again, because Mizu is a really good example. Okay, so when I showed you before that it was now showing that, and I know it's rendering it slightly correctly because it's where is Mizu? So this is how it will actually render. This section up here is built into Shopify, and I can add blocks to that, but I can't really configure it. So this is the product page section here. Now, whilst I can add blocks and I can hide blocks, this is the only section where you can have purchase options. You can't have add to cart anywhere else other than in here and on the part of the page where if you scroll down, it gives you this option at the bottom. Because this all stuff here technically is into stuff that I've built under this custom section, I can't add buttons to add to cart in that section because Shopify doesn't allow it to do it so, unless I start to go and edit the theme in ways I don't want to do. So unfortunately not. So that's just tasty. The other issue I have is I want to do something with this blank space here. There is very little I can do with that blank space because it's basically split the page into 2 at the top, and it divides it on this line by 2 things. One is the product page stuff. You can see it's showing it on top of each other here just because I've got it on a truncated view, but it's the product page stuff here, and where are the images actually? Is it under here? Yeah, so basically what it does is it splits this product page area into 2 underneath this, and I have the choice of where I put the images and the desktop media, but I can only put it at the side of those blocks that are here that I can only turn on or turn off, that I can't really edit. So I could make this section shorter so it fits in line with the image, and that would bring all of this stuff up. But I can't necessarily edit anything to put it here as far as I've found yet. Because it would be quite nice if I could move this bit to here and then move these buttons up or something, but there is no way to actually do that in the configuration. And it becomes a question of how much do I want to do that's custom versus how much do I want to do that is, and then it's not upgradable, or how much do I want to do that is upgradable for security reasons in the future but means a compromise in how the product pages look. And that's kind of where I'm at the minute. Where is that level of control that I want to give up? How much control do I want to give up? So yeah, that's broadly it. What was the news about it? Coniferous R1 was my first and for a long time only GMK set. Well, this was round 3 of Coniferous, and the international kit didn't make MOQ. Half of the kit configuration table's not got any more for phones. Yeah, nice. International kit is cancelled, sadly, but UK ISO is in base. It probably doesn't affect most viewers here. Yeah, for most people it doesn't affect because UK ISO is in base, but there were just international kit was just so few sales that it didn't make MOQ. Coffee with Jay, what a morning. Dude, you are welcome to come for coffee anytime you like. Mr. Blackbrook, thank you so much for 43 months of subs. He says 40 free. You can have tea whenever you come around, dude. Visual builders are great and make life easier until you want to do things which they don't support, and then they turn into a big headache. Yeah, but managing a website when you're not, that you need a team for to manage, like in terms of coding, if you're building something custom, we aren't at that level in terms of where we could hire 5 people to do that because we just don't make enough money. It's as simple as that. So yeah, there is absolutely a point where you have to say, what is the compromise between changing the website and doing a ton of custom stuff versus the cost of doing that? And the cost of that might be actual cash, or it might be upgradability in the future. And if I want to keep getting security updates, I can't change anything that affects the liquid files. For example, Reed dropped into, and some other people dropped into a voice chat with me the other week to fix something on the website that we did do with some custom HTML code. The next time the website gets an update for security reasons, all that custom code will be lost, and I would have to then go dig it out, copy and paste it across to the new theme files, and that means editing code and then testing, and it's a whole thing. So the more I can do in the editor, that's fine. That's great. The more custom stuff I have to do, I'd rather not. So we'll see anyway. We'll see. Right. Let's do a little bit of shilling though, because I do need to tell you about some stuff. I have updated the website, as I told you, and there is some new live group buys. So the Gihern 60 or Gerin 60, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but this is now in group buy, and there's a ton of different kits depending on what you want. You can get the Hall Effect Racker kit, you can get the Dynacap EC kit, so if you wanted to build it with Dynacap you can do. You can get a standard MX build, or you can just get a bare bones kit. Whatever you want to do, you can do, but this board is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. If you like this kind of thing, you'll love this board. The green is something else. I've seen some samples of this color in real life. It is absolutely glorious and beautiful. Every color is bright, is vibrant, is really, really cool. So yeah, the sparkle as well, you can see here. Look, sparkle. Super, super nice. Yeah. So that's available in almost every configuration you could want. The group buy does close in 31 days, so you've got plenty of time to decide, but you can get just a bare bones kit, you can get the MX kit, you can get the Dynacap kit, or you can get the Hall Effect kit. If you don't want the Racker kit, you can, in the extras, you can get the Venom stuff instead. So there's a Venom plate, a Wooting plate. If you already have a Wooting PCB, for example, and you want a Wooting compatible plate, so you can have the Wooting build in there, you can absolutely do that as well. So all of that is information you can have a look at and browse to your leisure. If you're into Kintsugi Shiro is now live. This is a really beautiful set. It's gold keycaps on a white base, which is really, really nice. Double shot, of course. Super beautiful set. The Kintsugi keycaps that come with it as well. Well, they're an add-on kit, they're a novelties kit. I think they're really nice, really cool. And these are all new molds for double shot as well, which is kind of cool, kind of crazy. So yeah, you can take a look at those. What else do I want to tell you about? Pre-orders, we put a load of pre-orders live. So the Vela, which is the board I'm using right now, this is in pre-order. We only have a limited number of units for this, so definitely check that out if you're interested in it. Windbreaker, Mutagen, and Violet Alert all went up for pre-order. Violet Alert is actually just about to ship to PT. I got the notification from GMK this morning, so if you do want to get it at the pre-order price and not the in-stock price, if you order it now, it's going to ship probably next week or maybe the week after, depending on how quickly it gets here. Yeah, I would order it as soon as possible. If you click on the updates and go to GMK updates, you will see it's now shipping to PT. So yeah, literally just an hour ago I put that post on that. So yeah, definitely take a look at that. Okay, and also if you want to buy coffee, you can go over to Jay's Roastery and buy some coffee, because we obviously sell our coffee now as well. So feel free to pick up that if you want to as well. Okay, shilling done. Shilling done, I think. Right. Is top mount fully rigid for MX or any gaskets, Gear and 16? What do you mean, Notorious BIG? I'm not sure which question is there. Mr. J, which plate was used in the EC kit? 6U or 7U? Was a little confused this morning. For the Gihern, message me on Discord after the stream, and I can spend a little bit of time going through the kitting options with you. What keycaps would you suggest for the green board? Anything that's got green in it. No, I would go with something beige if I'm honest. Godzilla Waddle. I like beige on green keyboards. I think there's some other really nice sets. So I think Coniferous, when that runs, will look really nice on the green. I think if you think of other colours that go well with green, anything dark like a black will go really nicely, or a white keycap set tends to go really well with the green board as well. So if you had like a white on black set or a black on white set, it'd go really well too. Will there be any photos of the metallic effect for the KKB? Yes, the keys haven't been produced yet. So yeah, you might want to take a look at that soon. There are a ton of, actually, just going back to green, there are a ton of green sets coming that I can't talk about yet. I think there's 5 green sets that are just about to be announced into IC Group by over the next couple of months. So yeah, watch out on green stuff coming. So yeah. But yeah, hopefully I'll get some photos of the metallic effect from KKB. I don't think we'll get the photos before the group buy closes though. I love the KKB Miami Dawn. Do you know if the set will ever be rerun? I don't know at the minute. There's no plans for it in KKB. I think in December I was talking to someone about a rerun in GMK. So I think GMK Miami Dawn might be happening soon. So yeah. Tommy says, what's the difference between group buys and pre-orders? Years ago, I remember that were just group buys, but I haven't tuned in too much for a while. So my view on this, Tommy, is depending on, I mean, group buy and pre-order in the general world can mean the same thing. The way I like to describe it for prototypists and the way we change the titles of our products is, and it explains this on the website actually. If you go on to the pre-orders page, it explains it here. In fact, let's look at group buys first. So I see it going group buy, pre-order, in stock. That's the flow for a product, okay, left to right. Group buy, pre-order, in stock. Group buys, these are for products before production is started, and they come with a significant discount on RRP, usually about 20% cheaper. Okay, so once the group buy is closed, the order will be submitted to manufacturer to be produced, and you can follow our updates to track production all the time and all that kind of jazz. Okay, so that's basically you're handing your cash up front. We're then going to try and get it over a certain MOQ to make sure it gets made. If it doesn't hit the MOQ, you get a refund. If it does hit the MOQ, it will get made and you get it cheaper. Then pre-orders are the next phase for me. So we might have sold a product in group buy, and let's say we sold 100 base kits of GMK socks, okay? And now we're going to put GMK socks up for pre-order. We bought 200 sets, so we're going to put 50 of them up for pre-order. So the price is in between the group buy price and the retail price. It's a little bit more expensive, but with a less of a weight. And the difference here is live pre-orders and manufacturing is already underway for these items, or they're already on the way to prototypists. So for example, the Vela, that will arrive with us in a couple of weeks' time. It's literally at sea right now. When I looked, the container ship with it was somewhere just off the coast of Spain yesterday, I think, or the day before. So it's not far away. Those are almost here. That's stuff that we've paid for up front to produce. It might be like the Vela, where it goes straight into pre-order because we didn't do a group buy for it, or it might be like Windbreaker, as you can see on there, where it had a group buy, now it's available in pre-order, and then extras will be available in stock. So that's the difference. Group buys, not yet made, trying to get to MOQ based on public interest. Pre-orders, it's already in manufacturing and it's going to ship soon or sooner. And then in stock, it's literally physically in our workshop, 20 feet away from where I'm sat now, ready to pack and ship. Those are the 3 stages. I hope that helps. Okay, I'm waiting to see a review of the green version. Want to see what it looks like in real life. I think all of the product photos on the Gihern pages are photographs. I don't think they're renders, or for the vast majority of them. Top mount plate on, say, a mode Sonnet has silicone gaskets between plate and top frame where you can screw together. What means does the Gihern do it the same way? The build vids look like the plate just screws through the frame without a gasket. That's correct. The historical way of doing top mount is that you would screw the plate directly to the case. Yes. Putting gaskets in the way can help for some builds. Other builds, it is nicer to not have that. It all depends on the designer's vision. For the Gihern, it goes straight in. If you didn't like that and you wanted to, you could quite easily put some little small O-rings in yourself and pop them on top of the plate, between where the plate and the PCB screws in. You're absolutely able to do that. That used to be called burger mount. It's just a gasket mount now, but you can absolutely do that. The new Matrix TKL board, can you say if PT is involved as a vendor? We are talking with Matrix about it. Nothing confirmed yet. Top mount gaskets are unnecessary for plastic plates. Yeah, I would agree. I think some people like them for aluminium and brass and copper. I prefer old school, no gasket. Just slap the top plate onto the frame sometimes. If I'm doing isolation, I prefer the J series style where we do like an isolated mount. Complete gasket isolation, but yeah, I mean that's just personal preference at that point. So yeah, I hope that helps. Right, okay, let's crack on with the custom build anyway, because we've been streaming an hour now, and well, still not actually even showing you what I'm building today because this is a customer build. But I think we've had a good conversation. I'm just making sure I don't have anything that I actually have to do, because my oh my god, my emails have gone absolutely nuts since I started streaming, which is always the way. It's always the way, especially when I stream on a work day. Anyway, it's fine. Let me let me have a look at that. Some Egypt distracted you? Yeah, asking me about how we built the website, right? Or whatever you asked. Why have you turned this off, Jane? But if we like going back to that though, I want to make the website as frictionless as for customers as possible. I don't want there to be a challenge. Like sometimes just because of the complexity of the products, it can be difficult to determine what you're getting, and it's hard to convey that because there's so many choices and options. And I think that's detrimental to some group buys. Like the Gihern is so complex because there's so many different choices and so many options, it will just put some people off. I know, Jehovah, you want to talk about some of the options there, and it's easier for me to do that on Discord because I can send you links and whatever else. We'll do that later. But yeah, it does become complex. But I want to try and, where the products are simple, I want to make it as easy as possible for people to see what's available, what's in stock, you know, make sure they can filter down on stuff. Add in when does a group buy in, the big countdown times, you know, all that kind of stuff. I want to do more of that. So yeah, we'll get that. But yes, time to show you. Well, in fact, actually, before we do that, let's show you some stuff, because I did get in the new Swag Keys Dolch set. So this is the Tulip, the numpad, and the base kit. And this is going to be in stock really soon. I'm actually waiting for confirmations to when I'm going to receive the units. But I'm pretty excited for this. I love a beige set. And I haven't actually seen these caps in real life. Now, these are manufactured by Creative, but it's to a specification solely owned by Swag Keys. It's SWG, yeah, SWG, which is slightly different. SW and SWG, that's what I'm trying to say. So the old SW kits are slightly different. SWG is their new stuff. And it is manufactured by Creative. And as you can see, we get it in these boxes, which are very Creative, but it has the Swag Keys logo on. And then we have the little pull tabs. And this is the beige set, which is always good to start with beige. And I do like beige. Speaking of, go buy some JOG keycaps. Make me happy. Give me something to do this afternoon after I finish streaming. And here we go. Oh wow, they're really crisp. Super, super nice. 2 rows of keycaps here. So you can see there's a lot of keycaps in the kitting. There is UK ISO included. See here, you've got the UK ISO keys on that top row. Convex short bars as well, not concave. if you like that kind of thing. Super, super nice keycaps. These are really crisp and clean, actually. Look at the molding is getting closer and closer to GMK style. Look, come on camera, please focus. Closer and closer to GMK style. And of course you've got the SW logo as well. These are really nice. I'm hoping that at some point we can do a set in these. Obviously I don't want to do beige again, so it won't be the JOG, but I am hoping that we can do a set in these. I'd like to do, I don't know if Swagkeys are actually even open to working with designs. I just want to do their own stuff. But that's the base kit, which is lovely. And this will be for sale soon. And it's not going to be expensive. I think it's going to be about the same sort of price as SW Wild on the website. We also have the numpad, which I'll show you, which is just going to be the numpad. Yeah, I'm leaving the Tulip kit until the end because the Tulip kit is my favourite bit. And we will put it on a keyboard on Sunday because we're going to build the Neo 98 prototype on Sunday. But everything comes packaged nicely. Here's the numpad kit. Just a standard numpad kit, but still really, really nice. And then here is the fun one. This is the Tulip kit. And if you don't know what Tulip is, it's referencing some old vintage products. Some really nice keys. It is manufactured by Keyreative, yeah. So it's basically a different version of Cat. And I was going to explain exactly that in a second, really rubbish. So what you have here is you have the Tulip keys. Now, these are all double shot legends. And what I mean by that is that every single legend on this keycap is double shot. In fact, let me zoom in so I don't have to hold it out of the light. So every single legend on this keycap, let's go in a bit further even, is double shot. So you can see all the legends there on the top and the legends on the front. These are all double shot legends. So they'll never wear away. But what they do is the first shot on the inside of the keycap has basically it's like an internal shot, and then the external color is molded around it. What they do is they dice up each of these legends individually. So these are all protruding out of the main base. They dice up each one individually so you can have each one an individual color, and then they put the beige keycap on top. So effectively you end up with this super cool series of keycaps that allows you to do whatever you want with colors, all double shot, never wear away. So sets like Cap White and Black have done this. Sets like MV Classic have done this, and all sorts of other stuff. But this Tulip kit is super, super cool because you also have keys like this, where it's, come on camera, focus, where it's got this double shot tertiary legend. And these on the front, these are double shot legends as well. These are double shot legends as well. I actually have some of the blank keycaps that show this. These are all still double shot, even though they're on the front edge of the keycap, they're all still double shot. And now these molds exist, we can use them. So yeah, it's really, really cool, really, really clever. The Tulip kit is fantastic. Please do consider buying some of these when they come out, because I've already bought a load of the stock, so I'm hoping they do well. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do more with Keyreative in the future. Right, let's catch up with chat. Sorry for jumping the gun. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So the internal shot on these is PBT. The white internal shot. Then that white shot is die subbed for the legends. And then there's ABS shot around the outside. So they feel like an ABS keycap, but the legends are PBT. And they'll never wear away. Bringing back old designs, Rubber, Euler, Prepress, Nimbus, Hazuka have been mentioned. Yeah, I don't know if all of those are actually agreed yet, but they are starting to come forward with this. So yes, and we're going to try and run as many of them as we can. Kind of like the MV Classic kits, exactly like that, yeah. Nice to see the tech used in sets with more classic font. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't like the cap stuff, this is much closer to Cherry. I wouldn't say it's exact, but it's much closer to it, so yeah. You posted a photo to keyboard chat. Thank you. Can I grab that? I don't know. Oh man, I've got so many pings. Yes, that's exactly. Let me share that with chat so chat can see. So this photo is basically going to show you how the legends are done. So you can see that it's a white base shot. You can see that this is a white keycap. Each of the legends is protruding and is double shot, and then they dye sublimate each legend individually, and then they pour on the top color and polish the keycap afterwards. So yeah. Do you back what's the sound profile like? I guarantee that you would not be able to tell the difference between the sound of the Swag Key stuff and GMK. Like if you put them on a keyboard, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But we will put it on a keyboard on Sunday and we'll do a typing test because we're going to build the Neo 98 then. So yeah, super cool technology, gives them a ton of really cool options, and the molds already exist for all of these keys as well. So as you can see, you can do a ton of different stuff with them. So it means you can have like a 3 key that has every legend on it, so you don't need an international kit anymore. Just put all the legends on the keycaps, right? No need for an international kit if all international keys are covered. So yeah, that's that. Right, okay. Let's crack on with the customer build though. Oh no, my phone is going nuts as well. Okay, I think that's okay. It's just Novel Keys asking me to do something, but Sharon will pick it up in the morning. Right, so this customer ordered a desk mat, which we don't need to see, but it's the overlap stone desk mat. They requested we do the build with some Gateron Sage switches. That's what we're going to be building today. They bought some lovely, wonderful JOG keycaps, which we'll run up shortly. Patreon, thank you so much for the follow. And I'm just going to make sure I'm reading the notes for this without showing you guys on the stream. ISO build, and this is a Neo 65 CU in ISO. Okay, cool. So this is a Neo 65 CU that we're going to build today, and then we can get this out to the customer. I do need to keep an eye out or an ear out for, if you hear any loud banging in the background and I don't hear it because I've got my headphones on, please let me know, guys, because it could be the DHL collections coming. So this is the customer's board. It's the Neo 65. I don't actually know what colour this is, so I'm going to be as surprised as you are. This desk mat's in stock. It's really cool. It's based on it's called the Led Zepp desk mat, and it's in stock on prototypist.net. Gemma, good afternoon, my dear. I hope you're well. So first of all, we have a ton of stuff here that we need. So we have our stabilizers, which we're going to use for the build today. We have our plate and PCB. So our cable, which we shouldn't need for this, but we'll check it for the build. We've got the customer's gaskets, screws, and other parts and pieces. And then here we have their keyboard. Had a nice coffee and salmon bagel at the coffee shop. Nice, nice. That sounds really lovely. I hope you had I hope you're doing okay, Jenna, as well. I know you won't feel too well. And here's the super chunky board. Oh great, what a great colour they've picked. This is like lovely green teal colour and super solid keyboard. All of these marks are just in the plastic, they'll go away, and it's a super shiny bottom when we take that off. So yeah, looking good. Right, let me just check how the customer wanted their keyboard built. I have not kept it. Okay, I found it. Okay. Where does he tell me how he wants it? UK ISO layout. Okay. Rest of the build is in my hands. Okay, great. Cool. So he just wants a UK ISO. What a great color choice this is for this board. Such a beautiful color. The teal with the copper is so great. Yeah, teal is such a nice colorway on keyboards. The only thing that I wish we had more of in keyboards is teal colors for other things, such as PCBs. Like, I know we do our PT PCBs in pink, but I would love to do some teal PCBs. I think it's just such a nice colorway. Look at that color. Look how it catches the light. All of that big slab of copper there. Similar to my Crush? Yes, it is. It's very similar to your Crush. Right, we don't need the case for now, but also look at this PVD base. It's still got the cover on it. I haven't taken that off, and I'll let the customer take that off. It's still got its coating on it. So the fingerprints that are on there won't actually be on it. It needs the plastic taking off. But it's super, super nice. We actually have one of these as an office board here at PT, although it's sparkle black finish rather than teal. Oh, actually, no. I think the 65 is teal. The 65 is teal. Here is our office keyboard in the teal, exactly the same build, but with different keycaps and switches. So there we go. The pastel colorway, the Davina Papaya one was teal. It is, yes. It's really, really nice. It's that Davina Papaya colorway. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. The one you couldn't give away? Yeah, we were told not to give it away. Slightly frustrating. Okay. So we have our plate, which is what we're going to build with today. We have our PCB. This is the tri-mode version of the PCB, and we have our stabilizers. The Burgundy Neo 65 I won many moons ago is my most used keyboard. It hasn't moved from my desk since I got it. I loved it so much I got a Neo 70. Nice. Did you buy that from us, sir? Sadly, I don't get to see all the orders that we ship out, so it may well have been from us and I've just not seen it. Okay, so first things first. Actually, that needs to go in the case because we don't need it. And so does that. It's time to get our stabilizers ready. So, customers have asked for us to use all of the foams and do ISO layout. So we're going to put the foams in place, and we're going to build ISO layout. Of course, sorry if I didn't see it, and I would have chucked some keycaps or similar in for it if I'd have known. So, UK ISO. What are we saying for the bottom row, guys? 7U or 6.25U? I think 6.25U makes more sense for most people on a 65%. And of course, we've got UK ISO. We have backspace, and that should be all the stabilizers we need because we're going to split left shift. Preference, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is a customer build. They've asked me to build it with foams, so that's what we're going to do. Just going to prepare our stabilizer housing. So I'm just putting the inserts into the housings. These go together really easily. You've got one side that has 2 holes on it. That goes to the front of the housing, which is where the wire clips in. You can see the front is here where the wire clips in, and the rear is where it's got the clip into the PCB. So you line the 2 up, the 2 holes go to the front with where the wire goes, and that's all ready now for the wire to be inserted. And we need 6 of these. Been leaning more towards 7U recently. I personally prefer 7U. I think on a 65%, a 6.25U makes more sense just because of the blocker that you have. So and of course the customer can change this at any time. It's hot swap keyboard. They can change this relatively easily at any time they like. All they've said is they just want it UK ISO. So that's what we're going to do. 75% with 7U is a pain in the ass for ISO users because you need Alt-GR. Yeah, I think it's the same on a 65 really. I think it's better to have 2 keys to the right hand side of the wire. Okay, so I'm just going to lubricate up our stabilizer wires, nice and simple. This is using one of our lube pens that are in stock. We're actually going to have 105 grade 0 pens in stock soon, so it's going to be an oil-based pen rather than a grease-based pen. Those are going to be here very, very soon. And we'll also be restocking on our 205 grade 0 pens because I think those have sold out. But we still have BDZ pens in stock, and as you can see, they make lubricating stabilizers nice and easy. So we're going to lubricate just around the L shape of the bracket. It just wants a thin coating if you're using BDZ. Then we're going to take our housing. And when I mentioned before you had 2 holes in the stabilizer stem, you want to go into the bottom of those 2 holes, but at the same time you need to clip it into the front of the stabilizer, just like so. And then that allows the stabilizer to move up and down once it's locked into the PCB. Again, we're just going to put a nice coating on here. The reason why we go round in an L shape is because we don't want the stabilizer to rattle on the part where it clips in. So when it clips into this front edge here, we just want to make sure we've got enough so that the wire is coated where it clips in. But of course, one of the things that a lot of people forget is right on the end, the circle dot on the back of the wire as well. Just make sure you lubricate that. Same for the other side. Into the bottom of the 2 holes in the slider and then clip in to the housing, and that's it. Then we're just going to pull out the slider from the housing like so, and we're just going to lightly lubricate both sides. This wants to be a really, really fine layer. Less is more here, remember. We're trying to, it's going to show up white because the lube is white, but we're just trying to make it move nice and easy. We're not trying to go up the works, just a super light layer. It's easier to add more lube later on if you need to than it is to take it away. And that's one stabilizer done. Just going to repeat that for the next ones. Catch up with chat. Just rebuilt the identical board yesterday with CF plate, solder, and HMX macchiatos. No foam, sounds lovely and poppy, paired with KKB Lake Mutsura scarf. Okay, nice. We actually have a ton of KKB sets coming in actually in our next shipment. I'm not sure if that's one of them. Are they cherry clip-ins? No, these are the stabilizers that come with the Neo boards. They are clip-ins, but they're not cherry. They are Neo's own product, as far as I'm aware. Customer builds remind me that I have a board I picked up last year, which I need to request build service for. Nice. I'm more than happy to do that for you. I actually still have your Wraith as well, Jehovah, that we're waiting for the replacement PCB for. As soon as that arrives, I'll get that shipped out to you, because the PCB for that was DOA. I did chase it the other day to see where it is. Spacebars and stabs are the thing I hate most about this hobby. Stabilizers I kind of agree with. There is no good. The best stabilizer is no stabilizer in my opinion. I think some of the modern stabilizers are about as good as they're ever going to get. The Knight V4s that we stock on the website are particularly good. I also have a soft spot for Type Pluses, although we don't have those at the moment. So yeah, but I think there's an opportunity in there with compliant mechanisms to make something better. It's something that I keep wanting to explore, but I just never quite found the right amount of time to dedicate to just looking at stabilizers, unfortunately. But I think a compliant mechanism could absolutely work in stabilizers. You balance the wires. Yeah, I mean, if I'm doing a personal build, I will do. But most wires these days don't need balancing. Like, it's very, very rare that a wire actually gets bent. Especially if you're buying good wires or good stabilizers. You mentioned in the past that you plan tighter integration between the PT and the roastery shops. Will that mean you can mix in-stock keyboard stuff from the coffee sometime in the future? Unfortunately not, no. So the coffee is all has to be shipped from where it's roasted. The reason for that is because there's a lot of health and safety rules in the UK about what the environment has to be like to sell a food-based product, which of course coffee is. And there is no way that with the keyboard stuff and the way it ships from China and the cars and everything else here, there's no way that we can absolutely do that, unfortunately. So they'll always ship separate, except for international orders, where we will ship the keyboard stuff from where the coffee is roasted once we turn on international orders for coffee shipping, which will happen at some point soon. Right, I'm gonna install the stabilizers now. These are clip-ins, so they just push down nicely into the PCB, just like so. And then we're going to do our backspace one. We need to make sure that we've got the PE foam all lined up nicely here, which we don't. Just so that when we push down on the stabilizer, it's going to pin it into place. There we go. And now for our ISO stabilizer wire. There we go. That's all nice and neatly installed. What we need to do now is flip it over, and in the gaps where the clip comes through, we're now going to push a retaining bolt so these can't come out. Lube, align the keycap switch, and then solder, and still get occasional problems. I mean, I've built somewhere in the region of, I don't know, I guess 4,000 keyboards by now. I've had very, very few problems like that over the course of building all of those. Very few problems. Like the number of problems that have been so extreme it's needed to be dismantled and rebuilt has probably been less than 10% of those. Either like chatter on one slider. I don't know. Like older stabilizers like Durox, yeah, absolutely. Newer stuff like the Knights, like I just don't see it. But hey, you know, we all build differently. One of the things that I have noticed is that building in different parts of the world does affect the keyboard build itself as well. So this is something that's not talked about particularly often, but climate plays a massive difference in how keyboards sound and feel, and how greases interact at different room temperatures that we have around the world as well. So I've noticed in particularly humid countries, you'll need to retune your stabilizers a lot more often than you will do in less humid countries. Or hot humid countries, sorry, rather than cold humid countries, because the UK can get pretty humid, but it's often colder. Okay, one more to put in, and then we are good to move on to getting our foams lined up and our switches and plate installed. I think I just dropped that. There we go. Any tips on warping spacebars? GMK, so you shouldn't get a GMK spacebar. Every single spacebar that GMK shipped since summer 2023 is manually tested. They take them all out and they have like a tolerance machine that they check it all on with shims and everything else, and they have one dedicated machine to print to produce spacebars. The week they turned that machine on, I was at the factory looking at it with them and going through it. So most modern sets you shouldn't have a bent spacebar with GMK, whether that's MTNU or CYL, doesn't matter the size either. Historically they did used to have some issues with it, and the way I fix it is on my printer, I'll turn on the heat bed to about 65 to 75 degrees Celsius. I'll put the spacebar on, I'll clamp it flat, I'll leave it for an hour, come back, and the spacebar is perfectly straight. But that's only really older sets, it's not really modern sets. Okay, let's start to align this bit of foam. Okay, we do need to trim out the middle section. I'm just going to look for my flush cutters. Because we just need to take the spacebar foam out and then we can realign it afterwards. So I'm just going to trim it there, and then we're going to trim it there and trim it there. And we'll put that in after we've got the plate and PCB assembled. But actually, before we do that, I think we're going to put the screws in place to hold it together. So these are screws that have little standoffs with them that allow us to hold the PCB and the plate together. So we're just going to put these on first, and we'll screw them into the PCB first, and then once we screw them into the PCB, we'll screw the plate on. And you'll see here that there are basically some flathead screws, some standoffs. They're all being magnetized over to that far side. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to take the standoffs, put them onto the plate, pop the screw in from the other side, and then get them all nice and neatly adjusted. Okay, just make sure we've got the correct screwdriver first. That is a Torx, but it's a tiny Torx. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the screw onto the screwdriver. I'm going to push it through the PCB, through the specific hole that's designed for this. And then once that's through the hole, he says, that screw does not want to go through that hole. I'm definitely using the right size screw, right? No, I was using the wrong screw. I have the correct screw now. There we go. So we're going to push the screw through the hole. We're going to hold it in place with the screwdriver, and then we're going to take the standoff and we're just going to gently finger screw that on to the edge of the screw. And then once that's there, we're going to tighten it up, and that's now got the standoff in place. And we're just going to repeat that for all of the standoffs. Just need to check on the plate where I'm actually looking for these. One there. Oh, there's only a few. Okay. One here. There's only 4. I thought there was more than 4 on these. It's a while since I built one. Again, screw through the PCB and plate. Sorry, through the PCB and foam. Finger tight, and then tighten up the screwdriver. And then we've got a second standoff in place. And then we've got 2 on the other side to do. Just checking for YouTube, guys. My son, who was 7 at the time, soldered a board with me. After me showing him a few switches, he did all the rest. Nice. Yeah, soldering's dead easy once you get used to it. There we go. And one more to go. It's a learnable skill for 99% of the population, I think, is soldering. Almost everyone can do it. My wife's done it. Mel's done it. I've done... Maybe we should do some soldering classes here at PT. Would people be interested in that? Soldering classes? Okay, now we've done that, we can pop the foams on, and we can use the pins that we've just installed to hold the foam in place. And then we can put the plate on top, and we can screw the plate down. Soldering irons, I use a TS100 or a clone thereof. They're really good. I'm going to take the plate. This is a very, very flexible plate. I'll lay it down on top. I'm going to line up our screw points, and then we're going to screw down. I don't want to connect. that screw just does not want to go into the top of that. Interesting. Let's see if we can get a screw to go in first. Okay. Okay, I think it was an issue with the screw because that one's gone on straight away. And we're going to go diametrically opposed. And screw the second one down, just like so. And then we've got 2 more to do. There's one. And then one last one. There we go. And that is our plate all assembled. Next job is to start to put some switches in, and we'll align the foams underneath as we go through that process. Put these back in here. Yeah, if anyone does subscribe on Ko-fi as well, you do get a free build every year. So yeah, do take a look at it. Rob Brum, thank you so much for the Prime subs. I really appreciate you. Yeah, definitely take a look on Ko-fi if you want me to do a build for you for free, because that is an absolute option you can take use of. Just as a perk for using Ko-fi. Right, Gateron Sage switches going in the build. Yeah, 4 months, Rob. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to start in the center of the PCB in the plate assembly, and we're just going to push the first switch in. Just going to make sure that's all held in nicely and check from the rear that the pins are coming through correctly. They are. That's all looking good. You can see here the switch is in place. And now we're going to kind of work in a spiral pattern all the way out from there. Just pushing the switches into place nice and evenly. Some good firm pressure as we do so. Just double check we've not got a bent pin. If things that feel like they're not going in properly, always double check for your bent pins. Okay. And then when we get to our modify keys, we just need to check on the orientation of some switches, but we should be okay. We can check that from the hot swap sockets on the rear. So if you feel a little bit of friction where it just does not want to go, don't overly force it. Just make sure your pins are straight, and that usually rectifies the issue. And you should start to see that everything's coming along really nicely. Switches are all installed nice and flush with the plate, nice and firmly entered into the PCB. And we can put this piece of foam in here shortly. Do you know what we'll do now? Before we put the spacebar switch in place. Effectively, this is just going to add that little bit of foam cushioning around the spacebar switch as well. Just like so. And now we can put the switch in place. I'm just going to check the orientation on this. Standard orientation, so it just pops in just like so. And there we go. That's all of our foams installed around that switch. It's 65%. 75% would have another row of switches across there. There's a Neo 65 CU edition for a customer, which they bought from our in-stock range a couple of weeks ago, and we're just finishing off the build for them now. So I'm just going to install all of the alpha switches. I'm going to do the modifiers separately because each of the modifiers, I just want to check the orientation of the switch before we put it into place. Because you have on the rear, the hot swap sockets are sometimes flipped, so you just need to make sure that you are putting it into the correct orientation. But we'll check all of those individually in a moment. But wherever switch can only go in one position, we are relatively safe for now. So we'll do the alphas first and the modifiers straight after. I think the F row is actually all okay as well. Yeah, sometimes on the F row the middle two are switched around, but here we're good up until the backspace. I seem really quiet. It shouldn't be. The volume shows it's peaking into the orange range on the modulator. I think unless you are soldering multiple times a week, even I don't think you need a Hakko to do soldering, and I solder maybe 6 days a week most weeks. Don't get me wrong, they're a nice bit of kit, but you absolutely don't need to spend that kind of money on a soldering iron. I do have a Hakko desoldering iron, like a desoldering gun, which is very, very good. But again, it's overkill for just someone in the keyboard hobby, unless you're that person that has to have the best tool every time. You can hear me just fine? Good, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to start working over towards this side of the board now. And then, as I say, we'll check on the orientation for each of the modifier keys individually as we get to them. Okay. This is a nice relaxing way to spend an afternoon, is building a keyboard. Okay, so for the backspace it's normal orientation, it's only split backspace where the keys are switched around. And then all of these down this side are the correct orientation, so we're good to put these ones in as well. Just make sure the plate doesn't deform as you're putting the switches in. Around the edges it can kind of like be a little bit more flexible. So all these are good. And then we're going to do the ISO enter key. So we just need to figure out where the pins are going to be for the ISO enter. So they are going to be in one and the other, I think. Is it going to be that way? Yes, he says. Yes, that looks correct. Oh, maybe not. Let's see the way. There we go. Still checked and still got it the wrong way around. And then for here, the ISO key is actually switched to an east-west orientation. So we just need to make sure we're putting that in the right way as well. just like so. So you see how that goes east to west, whereas you go north to south.
Incredible.
Both those keys goes east to west. Okay. Moving over to left shift. Now we have split left shift, which means that both of these keys need to be in the opposite orientation to make sure that they fit in. So we're just going to flip those over, just like so. Notorious BIG, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, man. You have lit up my rocket ship. Thank you so much. And then we'll go for stepped caps lock because stepped is best. And we'll just put that in there. And then for the bottom row, we're going to go 1.25U keys here. So we just want to make sure we've got these in the correct orientation. Just going to go 6.25U there. And then 6.25U here. And then 6.25U here. Just like so. And then here we need to go with a switch inverted to make sure it fits the 1.25U orientation. And that's just going to go and push it in like so. And there we go, that's our plate and PCB assembly all completed. Just need to tuck that piece of foam back in here. Just like so. And this piece of foam around here as well. Just tuck that back in. And there we go. And again, just here. Okay, that's all of our foams tucked in nicely. Okay, next up we can take a look at the feet. No, I think the play here is to go for the black feet. We're just going to install these black feet. To do that, we have to just peel them off the backing sheet. He says, if it actually wants to come away from the backing sheet at all. Come on. So the issue with these feet is they're actually stamped into the rubber, and the idea is that you can tear the rubber away from them, but often they just don't want to come apart. It is mirror PVD, yes. We do need to take off the cover, but we'll do that later on. Yeah, I don't really have fingernails. There we go. You see how it peels out eventually. I'm just going to align that nicely into the groove. Give it a good firm press. And then we're going to do the second one. You kind of have to like break the rubber, which without fingernails is not the easiest thing in the world. Okay, almost there. There we go. Had to give that one, I had to just literally yank that one out of it, but it's there. And push that into place, just like so. Okay, next up we need to do the main foot, which is the long one across the front. So I'm just going to put the remnants of those back in there. That's rubbish. I can put the grey foot away as well. Customer can always change these or keep them as a spare if they would like to. You saw one of your feet straight in half. Yeah, I mean, you could use some scissors to crimp them out. That is absolutely an option. Just going to move this a little bit closer to me to see. Now, these can often, the longer feet are often easy to install, but they can often feel like they are too long. So the secret to this is actually to try and mold the rubber and to not stretch it as you're going along. It happens with like a lot of keyboards, and we'll have people reach out and say, "Oh, my feet are too long," but it's not actually that they're too long. It's that they're stretching the rubber as they're installing it. There we go. That went in a lot easier than they often do. So there we go. Nice and neat. Camera, please focus. It's getting stuck on the roof. It's refocusing. There you go. It's focusing on the reflection. There you go. The foot's all nice and neatly installed there. Cool. Yeah, quite often the feet seem too long, but if you put both the ends down and you get a lump in the middle, you can just gradually ease that out and make it all fit nice and flush. Right, next job is to take the case apart. So I think we need a different screwdriver for this. I don't think that's Torx, but it might work. Oh, it is. It will work. Grab a little screwdriver tray. I'm just going to undo these screws, pop them in the tray. Still need to put the feet on my 65 CU. Yeah, they can be a pain. It is a lovely board. 60 CU also makes nice plateless. Yeah, I mean, they're just great boards all around, to be honest. For the price, I just don't think you can go wrong. Now the top case will lift off. Nice and simple. Super nice machining. Super nice colour. And now we can mount this in bottom. So first of all, we're going to pop down the foam. We're going to make sure that that is correct orientation, like so. Make sure that the magnetic connector can move freely. Good. And then the next job is to put the rubber grommets in place. Kurzebä hasn't intimated how they want to do this, but we are going to go for the PCB mount with the plate. And to do that, we're just going to pop these into the PCB and they just push until they click in. And then it's going to rest on these little nubbins on the base and they're going to sit in these little tiny grooves here. I'm just going to go around the keyboard. And effectively the plate here is being used for alignment and sound rather than for mounting. You can see now we've got those installed all down one side. We're going to install these all down the bottom edge as well. Not quite happy with that one. Okay, that's better. All aligned nicely, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to drop this down. Feel for the magnetic connector holding it in place. Make sure you can feel that it's connected. Make sure that each of the circle gaskets are sitting in their divots correctly. Once that's all in place, we can take the top case and we can drop the top case down over the top. Need to make sure it aligns correctly, just like so. And then we can take our screws and we can put this all back together. Oops. That screw did not want to go back in its slot correctly. We'll come back to that in a second. It's two done. Do the top middle. There we go. And then we're just going to do this one. And then I can tip it upside down to grab the other screw before it drops underneath that switch. Yeah, I think personally, if you put the gasket mounts on the sides, it sounds worse. So I tend not to do that. The front and rear supports are more than enough for the gaskets. So there we go. Can you use PE foam with solder builds? I assume not, as it will just melt the foam around the pins. No, you can use PE foam with solder builds. That's not a problem. You just need to be quick with the solder, that's all. I've done it a multitude of times. Any leaks about GMK Highlight? Not at the minute, no. I can't share anything just yet on that one. As soon as I can, I will do. And there we go, that is our build now complete. Next job is to pop some keycaps on here, and for this we are using JOG. Which was a collaboration between myself and JCS Keycaps. So let's get the keyboard nice and squarely centered. I'll unbox the keycaps. The customer has asked for this to be ISO. If Garrett said that, then I'm comfortable saying it as well, yeah. Gotta love some beige keycaps. And if you do like these keycaps, they are in stock and they're exceptionally cheap as well. The build today is our customer's Neo 65 CU. Beige on green is always a winner. It really is. It really is. Beige goes so well with green. Thank you, Demotex, for posting the link to the product we're using today. Need more green boards, I think. Yeah, green's a winner. Green and orange are the two colours that are underrepresented in keyboards, I think. We need the ISO keys, so we're just going to go and skip those for a second. We'll put them on when we go on to the next row of keys. My favourite keys in this set. This is something the customer designed purely for JOG. Obvious what the inspiration is. And then I'm just going to go with Alt-GR on Windows, just because I love the Windows key here. The customer can, of course, put whatever they would like on that. So with the rest of the keys that we have here, just need the arrow keys and the UK ISO keys. Yes. Some Wi-Fi keys in there as well. Grab our stepped caps lock key, because stepped caps lock is best. Grab our shift key. need a remaining. Right, so let's check on this last layer here. Have I missed some of the keys? Where's split left shift? Oh, there's one of the keys. Right, just need the correct pipe key now. Where have I put that? There it is. That's the key set all applied. And there is a customer's QK65 with JOG. Angry Alt key is the best key. Alt GR is such a great key. Look how good this set looks though. Beige on this. This is such a good looking set. Such a good looking build. Copper, teal, beige. Should we see how it sounds? Pause the music for a second. Oh yeah. The Gateron Sage switch is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Ooh. I think we have a slight issue with the enter key. That sounds so good. What a great sounding keyboard. I learned to type on very old ThinkPads, so I have a really heavy typist. What a great sounding board. I'm going to have a look at this enter key because that does sound a bit strange, and I'm wondering why that is. No, it's not rubbing. I think it's the PE foam sat underneath it. I'm actually really tempted to try and get some flush cutters in there and just trim that away a little bit, just to so the switch is sat on the yeah. So what I think is causing the issue here is, oops, in here. In fact, this might be easier if I zoom in so I can keep it under the lights. So in here you can see that the foam goes 3/4 of the way around the switch and it doesn't touch here, and I think the fact that the switch is touching the PCB here and not here is causing the issue. So I think actually it really needs to be trimmed away around there. Now I do have somewhere a knife because I had it a minute ago. I wonder if this is going to be small enough to just get in there and trim that out without damaging anything. I think that might sound a little bit better now. Let's give that a try. I'm not happy with that. It doesn't feel quite right. Okay, now we've got the stabilizer stuck down. What's causing that? This is where you slice the trace. I didn't press hard enough to slice the trace. And now we've got a ticking wire because I've played around with it so much. We've now got a ticking wire. Okay. So let's see if we can add some lubricant in. Oh, the joys. It's still not as clacky, but I think it's just... I think it's just the way it's built. There's not much else I can tune in there. So anyway. The keyboard is built, it's assembled. A Neo 65 CU with JOG keycaps, looking pretty smart, and it does sound phenomenal. So there we go. That is the build for today. Rotated switch and how it strikes the cap. I think that must be what it is. It must be the way that the switch is rotated. Unfortunately, the old Cherry keyboards, the switch was actually the other way, so it would face this way, and in these it faces that way. So I think that that might be part of the issue. Yeah, it feels nice. On your personal unit, is it so? The ISO doesn't stand from continuous. Let's get it out and have a look. You can see how the colours changed over time. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Right, it does sound different on that key. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that it is the way that the switch faces for the hot swap PCBs. That sounds better than my build though. This Gateron Sage switch is doing all the heavy lifting here. I don't know what's in this, but they don't sound as great. So these are Gateron Blacks. Yeah, okay. So the doing the heavy lifting. Yeah, the copper does look great on it. I think we still have some MT new copper sets in stock. Yeah, the copper does look good on it. But there we go. That is the build complete, and I think that looks pretty good. It's a pretty special looking keyboard, right? Tasty. This is my only Neo board in which the is a bit weird. Yeah, I think it is. My life in a nutshell. Fair. Okay, guys, right. It is just gone 2 o'clock. I've been streaming for a couple of hours. We have built a really nice keyboard. We've taken a look at the new SW keycaps. Just a reminder, if you did want to pick up one of the, as far polish for the ping, It's going to do it. I knew it was going to do it. The Vela keyboard, which is super beautiful and really, really nice. These are in pre-order right now with Hall effects, all good to go. And sorry, not in stock, they're in pre-order. They're about to arrive at PT in the next few days, and this also sounds phenomenal. Super, super cool board. And they're only 150 quid. Yeah, time for me to get back to work. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I shall speak to you again soon. And don't forget to come and watch a stream on Sunday where I'll be building the Neo 98 with the new Swag Keys beige keycaps. I'll also be unboxing the latest things from Mook Studios because we've run out of time today. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks very much for watching. Take care.